Hello and welcome to Come to the Table. Today I'm going to be starting a series of playthrough videos where I'm going to be teaching the games as I play them. Some of these games I'll be playing solo, and some of them I'm going to be playing with my family and friends. Today's game is Heat Pedal to the Metal, a racing game for 1 to 6 players published by Days of Wonder. I'll be playing against 5 AI players through the entire 1961 racing circuit that is included with the game. This circuit is a series of 3 races on 3 different tracks, with the score depending on finishing positions. And if you like these types of videos, be sure to
like, share, and subscribe to this Chinchilla Way.
Let's race! Alright, and here we have our first solo game of Heat set up. The first race of the 1961 circuit is going to be on the Great Britain track. So that's where we're going to start, and this is a 2-lap race as it shows here on the board. I went ahead and played with all of the different modules just so you get an idea of all the different things that are available in this game. So for the weather, there's a stack of tiles you draw from. They're actually right here, and I randomly drew this one. So this is, I believe this is fog. It's a foggy day, so not terrible. I also drew all of the different corner tiles, and we were not so lucky on those. This is actually going to be a little difficult, so I'll explain that as we go. So I randomly determined the starting order. If you look at the track, I don't know how well you can see it, but one side of the racetrack has a thicker line than the other. And so if you have 2 cars that are in the same spot, whichever one's closer, it's called the racing line, is in first. So green starts in pole position, and we actually start second. So that'll be a little bit of a boost for us. If we look over at our player board over here, we normally start with 6 heat in our engine, but because it's foggy, we actually get an extra heat, which is a bonus for us. So we're going to start this race with 7 heat, and of course I'll get into how all that works in a minute. We're also going to set up our deck. So in this game, the amount that you move, or as this game calls it, speed, the speed is determined by the cards that you play from your hand. So your initial hand has 3 1-speed cards, 3 2s, 3 3s, and 3 4s. And then we're going to add to that 3 of these stress cards, which I'll explain what those do in a little bit. Those go in our deck. I'm also playing with the garage module, and these are ways to just get extra cards. So normally when you're playing a multiplayer game, you would get 3 of those cards. You would draw 3 plus 1 for each player, and then you would take turns choosing which card you want, and you end up with 3. In the solo mode, we actually just draw 4 cards and then choose one, and I went ahead and chose this one. Gives us a little bit of extra speed and a way to discard our stress cards, which is always handy. So that goes in our deck. And then also when we're playing in the championship mode, in the circuit mode, we get sponsor cards, which are the best cards in the game, but they're all one use. So these are the 2 I drew for this race, and once we use these, they get discarded. And these actually start in our hand. So we're going to set these aside and go ahead and shuffle our deck and get ready to start. So in a round of Heat, we actually go through all the 9 steps that are shown on the player board here. And then we have our draw pile and our discard pile. So we finish shuffling and get started. The AI in this game is very easy to control, which I really appreciate in games. It's not complicated whatsoever. You just basically draw a card from the AI deck and move all the different cards exactly how far it says. And we're actually, we're playing today where we're going to give all of the AI movement +1 on their normal movement, just because I played this game a few times just to make it a little bit more difficult for myself. And we actually, there's a little standee over here on this first corner, and in each race, if you, it's like the media, if you do something impressive around that corner, you can draw another sponsorship card. So in order to do that, we either have to exceed the speed of the corner by 2 or slipstream around the corner, which of course I'll explain what all that is in a minute. So once we get done shuffling, I'm going to go ahead and draw up to 7. And add our 2 sponsorship cards to our hand. So here we have our opening hand. So if you look over here on the player board, this is like our gear shift. And this allows us, this basically, whatever gear you're in is exactly the number of cards that you have to play for that round. So if I only want to play 1 card the first round, which isn't recommended, I can stay in first gear. You can shift up 1 gear or down 1 gear for free. Or if you shift more than what you can only shift up to 2 gears. If you shift 2 gears at a time, then you have to pay a heat. And how the heat works is you want the heat in your engine because it allows you to do bonus actions. Some cards want you to pay heat. So when you have to pay a heat, it actually goes in your discard pile and then gets shuffled into your deck and eventually ends up in your hand where it's a dead card in your hand. And then you have to get it out of your hand back into your engine using cooldown, which I'll explain. So another nifty thing is on the board. May not be able to see, but it has these numbers. So this is telling us that we're exactly 15 spaces away from this corner. So we want to try to get as close to this corner as possible when we're playing our cards. So to begin with, I think we should definitely shift up into 3rd gear. So we go from 1st to 3rd gear. That requires us to pay a heat, which goes into our discard pile. And then we get to choose exactly 3 cards that equal as close to 15 as we can. So the stress cards, you play a stress card like a normal card, except that you don't know what value it's going to be until you actually go to move, which I'll show you in a minute. We may actually have to play our stress card. I don't know if we want to use our sponsor card this early, but a lot of this game is trying to keep up with your opponents, so we may have to. So I'm going to choose the 6 card, the 3 card, and we'll go with the other 3. So we got a total of 12 speed. So we'll set the rest of our hand aside, and then we go into, so the first step in the order is choosing your gear. The second step is choosing what cards you want to play, and then the third step is moving. So since the AI goes first, we're going to go ahead and draw the AI card, and we'll try to show you that up close so that it makes more sense. So here we have one of the AI cards. So this is telling us that the black card wants to move 10, or I guess 11 since we're doing +1. The green card wants to move 11 plus 1, 12, and then so on and so forth. The symbols at the top are if the car is too close to the corner and this speed is going to take it over the corner, then we stop at those symbols on the board, which I'll show you in a second. So if we look at the speed, the green car wants to move 12. So it's 15 away, and it can definitely do that. There's these symbols on the board. This is called the Legends line. So if this car was past that line when we started the round, it would instead go to the 0 space. So it would end up on the 0 space. This is just a way so that the AI doesn't just go flying around the corners, because the AI doesn't draw cards. It doesn't manage heat. It doesn't manage stress. It literally just moves whatever is on the AI card. So we're going to go ahead and move green 12 spaces down to the 3. And then we're in second, so it's our turn to move. So step 3 is move. So we got 12 speed. So we're going to go ahead and just move right up next to the green car. Step 4 is only if you are in 5th or 6th place on a 6-player game, a 5 or 6-player game. And that allows you to move an extra space. It's kind of a catch-up mechanic, and it allows you to cool down one of your heat from your hand into your discard pile, or back into your engine, sorry. So step 4 doesn't apply to us because we're not in 5th or 6th place. Step 5 is where you can do cooldowns, boosts. If there's extra heat you have to pay. So for step 5, we could boost, and what boost means is once per turn, we can flip cards. We flip cards over from the top of our library or top of our deck until we hit one of our starter cards. It's got this symbol on it, and then we move that many extra spaces. But boosting does cost 1 heat, so we would need to pay 1 heat into our discard pile in order to boost. If you're in 1st or 2nd gear, you're also allowed to cool down, which, like I said, is taking heat from your hand, if you had any, and putting it then back into your engine. But we can't do that in 3rd gear, and we don't have any heat anyway, so we're going to go ahead and skip step 5. Step 6 is what's called slipstreaming. This is a way to get ahead in this game. So slipstreaming says that if you end up either beside another car at the end of your movement or behind another car at the end of your movement, you get to move 2 extra spaces. So we're going to go ahead and slipstream for 2. So that worked out really well for us the first turn. So that's step 6. Step 7 is what's called a corner check. So if you look at the corner, it has a number, 10. So what that is saying is if I pass this corner line, it's going to look at my speed, and it needs to be 10 or less, or else I have to pay heat, 1 heat for every speed beyond 10 that I went around the corner. And if I can't pay that much heat, if I don't have that much heat in my engine, I spin out, which means I go back to the space right before the corner, and I get extra stress directly into my hand, depending on what gear I'm in. So let's try not to do that. But if you'll notice, this corner, like I said, has this -1 modifier. So this corner is actually a 9 speed. But we'll worry about that next turn. We don't have to worry about the corner check. Step 8 is discarding. So you are allowed to discard cards from your hand so that you can get a better draw. But you cannot discard stress cards, and you cannot discard heat cards from your hand. It's basically just the number cards you can discard. This card is going to be really handy when we go around a corner. I'll explain that. But these 2 1s right now are a little bit useless because we want to go fast. So we're going to go ahead and discard these 2 1s into our discard pile. We're going to discard our other cards we played this turn, except for the sponsor card. That's out of the game. We're going to go ahead and put that over here. And then step 9 is drawing back up to 7. So we're going to go ahead and draw back up to 7. Okay. So here's our 7 we have for the next turn. All right. So now we go back to step 1, we have to do the rest of the AIs. Get a little ahead of myself, sorry. So blue is in 3rd place. So the blue card wants to move 16, and it is exactly 16 from the corner. So it's going to be able to move all the way to the edge of the corner. The gray card wants to move 18, but it's only 16 from the corner, so it cannot, or else it's going to go blown right by the corner. So it's actually going to move to the 2 diamond spot. So it moves to the 2 diamond and then up against the racing line since it was the first car in that spot. Then the black car wants to move, and it wants to go 11, which it definitely can, to the 6. And AIs don't slipstream either, so you don't have to worry about any kind of slipstreaming. And then the yellow car wants to move 19, which it can't do either. So it's going to move to the 3. So it moves to the 3 and to the outside lane. And that's a round. Okay. So now we're on to round 2. And we go back again to step 1. So we are in second. We are coming up on a 9-speed corner. And remember, with this little sponsor guy here, if we go around this corner at an 11, because it's 2 over, then we get to draw another sponsor card, which is really good. But we also have to pay 2 heat if we go around the corner that fast. But let's check out what we have in our hands. So we could shift up to 4th gear to play 4 cards if we wanted to. We want to try to get a 9 or an 11. This card, what it does is it moves 3, but it adds 1 to a corner. So that would become then a 10 corner if we use this card. We also have to just discard 1 card from the, or no, sorry, this is where it removes it from the game. So I don't think we want to use this on this corner. There's some nasty corners coming up. I think we want to hold on to this. So do we go around at 9 or do we go around at 11? Those are the 2 questions. I think it's early enough. We may want to get a little bit of an advantage. So why don't we go for it? We're going to shift up to 4th gear. Then we're going to play 4 cards. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's just go for it. Pedal to the metal. So that was step 2. Step 3 is now movement. So since blue is ahead, we're going to draw our AI card for this turn. So blue wants to move 18, but if it's within this Legends line, so if it's in this area, you actually ignore its normal speed and you add the corner amount to the diamond. So 9 corner plus a 3 diamond, it's going to move 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was a good movement for it. So we're in second, so we're going to go ahead and move our 11 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we're one space back from slipstreaming, unfortunately. So do we want to boost? I think we do. I think we do want to boost in this case. We're going to be paying a lot of heat early. I hope we get some cooldown later. So how boost works, so we're skipping step 4 because we're not on the back of the pack. We're on step 5. So this allows us to boost, which is that plus sign. So we're going to draw cards from the top of our deck until we hit a starter card, which this one is. We're going to move 1 extra space. And that, actually, this adds to our speed. Well, we did it already. So this actually adds to our speed. So we're going to have to pay a little bit extra heat even. This is going to be rough. So we're going to pay our extra heat for the boost. We're then going to go on to step 6, which is slipstreaming, which is what we can do. Move our 2 slipstream. Then we do a corner check. So the 2 spaces that we did for slipstreaming do not count towards our speed. It's only the cards in our hand. So we move 12. That's 3 heat we have to pay. 1, 2, 3. And we only have 2 heat left in our engine. So hopefully we can cool some of that down sooner rather than later. Yes. We also went around the corner at 2 extra speed than what it said. So we get to draw another sponsor card directly into our hand. And this is actually a copy of what we already have, so that's going to help later on. Step 7, a corner check. Step 8 is discard. So we look, our next corner is a 6 speed corner. We can't discard stress, and we don't want to discard our sponsors, so we're going to skip the discard and just draw back up to 7. 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. And then we move on to the gray car. So the gray car, he's within the Legends line. So he's going to move the 9 plus 1. He's going to move 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the green car is going to move 9 plus 2, or 11. 11 to the outside. The yellow car is going to move just 9 plus 0. 6, 7, 8, 9. And then up against the racing line. And the black card is going to move 9 plus 2, 11. And of course, like I said, no slipstreaming. So this is how it looks after round 2. We paid a lot of heat. Maybe that was a mistake, but we are leading the race at this point. So here we go. The next round, we have to decide, do we want to shift down? I think we definitely want to shift down. Question is, can we get a 6-speed with 3 cards, or are we going to have to pay an extra heat? So, do I use both of these cards? This would make this corner an 8 corner. And we could only go down to 3rd gear, but that would get rid of both of my sponsorship cards. And there's some bad corners coming up here. I don't really want to use stress. I'm really hoping we draw our garage card to get rid of this stress out of our hand, because I don't like randomness. I think we have to shift down twice. I think we have to go down to 2nd gear. Which then, since we shifted twice, we pay a heat. It is what it is, I guess. So that was step 1, shift. Step 2, play 2 cards. So we want to get around the corner to 6. And then step 3, move. So since we're first, we get to move our 6 spaces first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up against the racing line. Step 4, we're not in last. Step 5, we're not going to boost, and we can't cool down because we don't have any heat in our hand. We can't slipstream. Our corner check worked out just fine. Do we want to discard anything? We are only 3 spots away from a 5 corner, so we want to get as close to 5 as we can next turn. I don't think we do. We like our 4, and we're hoping to draw some 1s and 2s. I'm not going to discard anything, so we're just going to draw back up to 7. 2 cards, which is exactly the amount of cards we have left in the deck. Okay. Blue is next. So blue is, of course, past the Legends line. So it's going to be 6 plus 0. We're going to move a whole 6. No slipstreaming for the AI. So we go to gray, which is 6 plus 2, because it's within the racing line, 8. And it made the corner. Nice. Green is going to be the 6 plus 2 as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It also made the corner. Yellow, since it's outside of the racing line, is going to try to go 11, which it can't because it's only at 9. So instead it's going to go to the 0. The same thing with black. Black wants to move 13. It can't. It's going to go to the 1. And there's our standings after this round. So in this stretch, you can actually get a free boost, which I probably should have taken advantage of, but we are already past that point. So this stretch, you actually get a boost for free without paying heat is what that means. But it's a possibility it could have taken us past the corner and then we would have been in real trouble. So maybe that was a good thing. So next round, we're going to decide if we want to shift. So we need to go, we need to go 5 spaces. We can go 4. 4 would get us around the corner and set us up for the next corner. I don't like to shift down to 1st gear now, but I don't think we have a choice. So let's go ahead and shift down to 1st. And then play our cards. So we're just going to play our 1 card to get around the corner. I really want to play the 6. Because what this means, this 6 card lets us discard all 3 of our stress cards, which we normally can't do. But we can't take this corner at 6 because you also, to use this card, you have to pay a heat. And we've only got 1. So we're going to save that. So we played our card. We go to movement. We'll go ahead and move our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Around the corner and up against the racing line. Flip over the AI card. So blue, so this entire stretch is in the Legends line because it's such a short stretch. So we're only going to look at the corner 5 plus the 1, so 6. 5, 6, and up against the racing line. And gray is in third. So we got 5 plus 1, 6. Did not make the corner, which is good for us. That buys us a whole turn. Also, the green is 6 plus 0. The green also didn't make it around the corner. Yellow is going to be 6 plus 2, 8. So AIs cannot pass 2 corners in the same turn. So unfortunately, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 would put it here. But like I said, they can't pass 2 corners in 1 turn, so it's going to get stuck back here behind this log jam of cars. And I believe black's going to do the same thing. Black can move 6 plus 2, 8. It's also going to get stuck behind this log jam of cars. Close race. Close race. Here we go. And we need to draw then back up to our 7. So we only need 1 card. So when your draw deck runs out, you shuffle your discard pile and that becomes your new draw deck. And that's how you get heat back into your deck so that you can put it back in your engine. So let's actually, I don't think we want to draw heat this turn. We're too close to that other corner. All right, 1 card. And we drew heat. Okay. So we are 5 away from the corner, but we're only allowed to go around it at a 3 speed. So this is going to get messy. We only have 1 heat in our engine. I think we're going to have to use at least 1 of these cards so that this bumps up the number there. So playing 1 of these cards would make this a 4. Playing 2 would make it a 5. So we'd pass the corner at 1 extra speed, which would make us pay 1 heat. I think that's going to be our only bet here. If we play stress, then who knows what cards we're going to draw. And we may end up getting too far behind. I think we're just going to have to live on the edge here and see what happens. So we are shifting up to 2nd gear. Playing 2 cards. Don't want to do that, but I think I have to. But blue is first. So blue. Once again, this whole stretch is beyond the racing line, or the Legends line. So we're going to have a 3 plus 2 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The blue card made the corner. Red is next, that's us. So we got our 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also made the corner. So continuing on, we're allowed to cool down now. So in 2nd gear, we can cool down 1 heat from our hand back into our engine, which is going to be very helpful. We definitely don't want to boost because that adds to our speed. We do want to slipstream for 2. corner check. So the corner was a 5 speed, and we ran around at a 6. So we have to pay 1 heat. Not a problem. Then we're going to go to our discard, so those are out of the game. I don't want to discard this because I want to use it in the straightaway when we get around the corner. So we're just going to draw back up to 7. 5, 6, 7. Then we have gray is closer to the racing line. So 5 plus 3 is 8, but it can't take 2 corners at once. So it goes to the edge of that corner. Green is going to be in the same boat, I think. Green, 5 plus 1 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go ahead and end the session there for today, but please join me for the remainder of this race in the next video. And if you see any mistakes, be sure to leave them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.